Welcome everybody back to another BOLDcast One Piece reaction. Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is One Piece episodes 5, 10, and 511 of One Piece. We're wrapping up all the stories. Frankie just did possibly the fucking stupidest thing in the most entertaining way possible that I've ever seen. And now it looks like we're looking at one of the gates of justice, so we're gonna see what happens there. Leave a like and subscribe. Check out Patreon. We get 2 weeks ahead of Uncuts, 1 week ahead of edited reactions. Check the description to find that link. Check the pinned comment to find that link. While you're down there, please leave a like, please subscribe. We hope you enjoy this reaction. Most of all, let's freaking go.
They just capture all of these guys.
Wow.
It's fucking sick that he's coming with us.
Holy shit. I was like stunned for a second. It was like, holy shit, it's moving so fast. What do they want?
This is the question.
Are they like, you need to go see your brother's body, like where this place, in order to get closure? And it's like, oh, Shanks took that and, you know, buried it somewhere else.
Now this place is so good. I wonder if one of those birds can take him back.
I bet.
Probably get there super fast because it's so huge.
Give him medical attention.
No.
But then the humans took it too far.
It's so wholesome.
I feel like that's gonna really come in handy. I love his backpack. I wonder if you can get that backpack in real life, like a big version. Oh, Choppa. I really hope he does.
Where did you get that?
It must grow here.
Cute.
How is he? He's just walking towards the.
Yeah. Yeah, Chopper. There's no ship.
Doesn't have a log pose or anything.
Very nice. Where's your cotton candy?
Holy shit, they're fast.
What? I would go human mode just for some grip strength.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, Jesus.
I'm like, the hooves don't grab stuff very good.
I wonder if we ever go back up to Sky Island. Ooh. If we could take these guys, they could go up there in a second.
These guys could just take us to the One Piece right now.
They could. So many shortcuts that we need to avoid.
Does it say Luffy's back at Marineford?
Yeah.
Is that in the newspaper? Emotional whiplash.
I hope everybody else gets it. Oh, okay. I thought they were going to Marineford and it was really sad. Whoa. It's so big. This is like the bridge, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
700-year bridge, right?
Something like that.
Crazy. And now let's just end. There's something really kind of chilling about seeing the bridge like that in that shot. This is why they want to recruit her really bad, because she has some crazy knowledge or some ability to read poneglyphs and stuff. Dragon. Oh. Of course. Of course. Of course we don't get to hear that. They look so happy to be in this frozen climate, these rhinos. I want to see on the map where this fucking bridge is, because my theory before was that it's a new version of basically the Red Line. Maybe the Red Line was built in a similar way.
Oh, he just went back to Marineford.
Oh, he's just doing something careless again.
But at least I know he's being himself.
That's her reaction, is just like, oh, classic Luffy, doing what I would not ever expect, and it's amazing. Omoshiroi. It feels like the original, like, the crew's really getting back together, you know? Like, the show's, like, kind of coming back into focus, you know? Or out of focus, I guess. Are we gonna see Ivan? Oh, a bunch of other things washed ashore.
You're just relaxing.
His hair looks different. How long has it been? Years, like years and years. How many years? Are a bunch of people gonna get turned into women? Like, so hot! Oh my god!
Something so judgmental. How can...
I mean, you're technically not. It's not like that right now, though. Is the thing? Because
how about let's take that fucking ship back?
Mugiwara boy. Oh, okay. I thought he was gonna do that to Sanji. Nami Swan.
Sure. Oh.
They just didn't get a picture of me.
Yeah, just admit that it's you, bro.
It's not. It's literally not him, though.
But it's supposed to be.
Just, I hate that fucking guy. What the hell happened to you? You good?
Is it just so painful?
It's so painful to say that it's him. I'm gonna ask him questions about Luffy.
Yeah.
Folded under very little pressure. Never mind.
Fooled us too. Just let him go. Killing the vibe.
Yeah. Cringe, Sanji. Is he gonna have to use what he learned from the new Kama? Or the Okama? Or Kamabaka Kingdom? What if he just took it on the face and it's like burning him, and then he's like, ha, just joking, he pulls off the mask.
That was so good. Is he just gonna loot or not? Yeah.
I love that he does that.
It's just the stupidest thing. Uh-oh.
Good, give him a haircut. Change his hair back to how it was. I don't like his new hair. I don't know if it was already like that or if I'm just noticing it.
Galaxy Wink.
Galaxy Wink.
I'm sure Sanji isn't dead. Is he just gonna be... Oh, I thought he was gonna be bald. What if he starts balding after this? Could you imagine? It's not even a secret. I was just fucking with you.
You zoom as a girl again. Baltigo! Right. Oh, and we knew that. We saw a flashback to that before, and then Dragon said in the... Yeah. Snail. Was it like a scrambler snail or something? That's interesting.
Summoning the commanders. Yeah, I want to know what why he went back. Good question.
I wonder if they installed like a fail-safe in him that would let him return to himself after a period of time or something, and it was part of they factored it into their plan. He went there just to pay respects, it looks like.
Yeah, I guess
Find
so.
closure by the looks of it.
All the Marines are like...
Rayleigh and Jinbei, yeah. They're all like, what the fuck? They're like trying to rebuild, and he's just there like he doesn't... His arm!
Oh.
I wonder if that's a date? It has like an X on it.
It's a body with X?
It looks like 302Y is what I was seeing, like year.
Oh, I see.
That's so maybe it's a date or something, or maybe we'll see, obviously. But that would be crazy if he did a similar tattoo similar to Ace to you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Ooh, I can't wait to see that. I wonder like it seems like that's pretty clearly what's going on. I wonder if Rayleigh did something like that when Roger died. Maybe, you know? Maybe,
yeah.
Like if he went to Logetown and like paid respects there, or if he, you know, like why is Rayleigh the one to suggest that, and why is he so sure that, or he seems sure in himself that it will help Luffy to do this? You know, like maybe it's a storytelling thing that tells us something about Rayleigh. But speaking of Dragon, I've been thinking. I don't know. I forget if we brought it up because there's so much going on during Marineford. But like before, it was like, shouldn't people know? Well, you know, we had this confusion, and it was because it was being hidden. Shouldn't everyone know that Garp is related to Dragon? Like they have the same name and everything, and then. But things were just obscured enough so that their connection couldn't be made. But if they know that, if enough people now know that Garp is Luffy's grandfather, they're both Monkey D, and then now Dragon is confirmed at Marineford to be Luffy's dad. Now, doesn't that put Garp in the hot seat publicly? Because it was known internally, but the Marines are all, and the world government's all concerned about perception overall. So.
I feel like maybe it would, but because, you know, Garp, you know, tried to go, like, you know, he tried to stop Luffy. I can't even remember, honestly, if the cameras were going at that point yet. I kind of think that it was during the outage. But I think as long as Garp kind of stays strong in the eyes of the public, then it's just like, oh, he's so... It could just be flipped. It could just be like, oh, he has these, evil child and grandchild.
Yeah.
Or it could be like, he's such a pillar of justice. Even when his family is going against him, he'll stay strong.
Yeah. And it also, if they kind of brush over it, it might just be a case of maybe that is a story in itself where it tells us just how heroic a Garp's image is. If he can overcome even something, it can't be tainted because of the things that he's accomplished in his life, and he has that much of a reputation that even if it's outed that his son and grandson are, crazy criminals, like some of the biggest criminals ever. Even then, his image won't be tainted. But I like to see that. But it's the kind of thing that I've doubted things in the past, and I've been wrong 100%. But so I'm willing to be wrong. But it's the kind of thing that I doubt One Piece will kind of go into, because I think the purpose of obfuscating all of that was more for the big moment at Marineford. Like, it feels like all of it was all of oh, does everybody know they're connected? Is it like this secret? It's all so that things can come to light and it can be more dramatic at a venue like Marineford. So whether it actually matters for the overall story past the big sort of climactic moment, whatever, we'll see. But anyway, fucking Ivan's snail has the dragon thing, so it might just be the revolutionary army thing. But what's interesting is that the snails usually embody physical traits of the person who's taught, or the person it's attributed to. So does Ivan have Ivanka? I know we call him Ivan because it's fun. Does he have that fucking mark too? Maybe on his body somewhere.
I mean, I feel like we've seen a lot of his body. It would have to be in a couple specific places. I'm also interested in this little snail. I'm not yet sure if it's for the long distance,
scrambler.
Or it's to protect them from being listened in on.
I think so.
Which is kind of cool because it just adds to the snail lore, because it's kind of always just how exactly are we contacting snail to snail? Because you can seemingly kind of call any snail potentially,
it's just a phone. It's just a phone, and they but
it's also kind of like a radio.
They also don't have 50,000 snails. I don't think everyone doesn't have a snail for every person that they're talking to. It's just a visual thing for us to get. Maybe in lore, it's one of those things that if you want to ask questions about it, it'll get kind of dumb really fast, and it'll have to be a lot of explanations about it. But the point of it isn't it's just a fun detail. It's a fun thing to think about. But what's more than just a fun detail is this white snail that they include, this sad kind of dopey looking featureless snail that's plugged into this one, and they don't mention it. And I like it. It's a prime visual storytelling thing that they don't need to tell us exactly what's going on. There's a pattern that's been established by the series, and then they have this clearly it's there to hide, as a VPN or whatever, however you want to put it, whatever analog you want to make. And they don't need to describe what the white snail is, or we're plugging in the white snail or the scrambler snail. It's communicative just by being there, and I like that.
Yeah, just Ivan's whole oh, I'll tell you, or not. Just a classic. It's so silly.
I hope we get to keep seeing Ivan, because I really and I'm surprised how much we're seeing Dragon. I'm blown away that we're just having a scene of him just talking.
I thought for sure Ivan's gonna come back and then help Sanji out. And then we were just not
brush over it.
Brush over it, but the fact that we get a call of him calling Dragon is pretty cool. I like that. I like Sanji just getting beat up. It's kind of funny.
Because he was training with whatever the steward of Kamabaka Island. And then I gotta tell you what happened to Kuma. There's gotta be some kind of contingency plan. Because Ivan was there at Marineford, met Kuma. So if Dragon has I need to tell you something about Kuma, then Dragon must have something to tell about, like, what's going on. It must be something
other than he got turned into that
I need to tell you what you already know about Kuma's situation. It's like, that wouldn't make any sense. So he has to have something else, which makes me think that the reason that Kuma was telling Rayleigh was, like, willing to go, like, overstep a little bit is because he knew that was going to happen to him anyway. And maybe they anticipated that, had a plan. And here's my theory time, Carson's theory corner. Maybe Vegapunk is also working with the revolutionaries. And that's why we've been, like, so Frankie's over at Vegapunk's island, but again, we talk about it a lot. When Oda has something in his head, you'll see it. Like, when Oda has made, like, a reveal he's planning, or information that he's seeding, he'll have, like, a thing in his head, something that he wants to say, and it'll leak out in areas surrounding the thing that he wants to communicate. Whether it's a lot earlier or it ends up happening a lot later, if he has something in his head, he will focus on that, and while he does other things, and sometimes it's more subtle than others. And we were just at, with Frankie, Vegapunk's, like one of his first laboratories, or, like, I forget if it was his first.
Like, main laboratory.
Well, it was like abandoned because it was from his younger years, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I forget if he, I forget the details if he grew up there or if he just arrived there at some point. Regardless, it's from his past. And now it's a big question of what Vegapunk is doing. You know, he's made a lot of advancements. He has some knowledge that other people don't have, possibly related to, you know, the ancient kingdom in the same way, kind of student-teacher relationship that Frankie is, perhaps. That's something we theorize, but that's just a theory. The point is, we don't know what Vegapunk is doing, where he is, who he's affiliated with. It would be reasonable to think that he's with the world government, because the world government has all the pacifistas, has Kuma, has probably a bunch of other shit, but we don't actually know that. You know, we don't 100% know that.
We also don't know whether he's, like, working under duress, or he wants to help them, or he's, like, acting like he's helping them, but, like, at the right moment,
he could be a double agent.
Then he could be a double agent.
Yeah, you know, like with the case with Kuma, like, maybe that might be what's happening here, where he is doing all the shit with the pacifistas with Kuma, and then in the background he's, you know, getting contact he's talking to Kuma, who is talking to Dragon and all these other people. And he's, you know, he's playing kind of double agent and has a greater idea, maybe because and it would make sense if he had, like, if he is connected to the revolutionaries and all this kind of stuff, it would make sense that he would be connected in some way, like Frankie, to the ancient kingdom that was, like, destroyed or whatever, or in some way like Pluton or Poseidon or whatever. All that type of shit. It would make sense because also, like, with the kind of thing that, you know, if Oda is thinking about something, we'll see it kind of leak out onto the story. We just had this whole thing with where apparently they've been looking for Robin, and we just got that information. And Robin is a reader of poneglyphs. She's a keeper of knowledge from Ohara. And it would make sense outside of all of this Vegapunk shit that they would want to recruit Robin anyway. But the point is that we're hearing about it now, when we're talking about, when we just went to Vegapunk's place with Frankie, when we're learning a lot about Dragon around the same time. We're learning a lot, we're getting more information about Kuma, about Ivan, about their whole backstory. It feels a lot more familiar and, like, in place. So, you know, all of these things I think are connected in some way. And I feel like it makes sense to me, at least. And it would all be as far as the Kuma stuff, it would all be in service of Kuma having a kind of failsafe, or for Dragon being like, okay, we set it up so that Kuma could, you know, escape or give us intel. Maybe he sacrificed himself in that way. You know, however it turns out, it's going to be interesting regardless. But it's all very cool. And Choppa,
good little guy.
And Sora.
I thought he just had such a good time. And yeah, Robin finally did up her shirt as well.
Finally.
Huge development.
And fucking Sauron's like, can I see you again? And then Robin says nothing and leaves, just smiles and like, no. But I can't say that. Probably not, kid. Goodbye. Hopefully you don't get killed in the time that it takes you to walk across this giant decades spanning, century spanning bridge. Yeah, the bridge thing is, we've already talked about it to death, so you can go back to the other episodes if you want to hear us talk about it. I don't think our thoughts have really changed on it. red line potential, you know, thing there, maybe, but we talked about it as a metaphor for society and how everybody, you know, no matter what you believe or what you want, is like is that we kind of interpret it as this thing that is constantly being built, and you work your whole life for something that, you know, you won't see the fruit of your labor of, and it's this constant thing that's just driving forever, and that has these greater purposes that's not really connected to you. And it's kind of an interesting image, and it's really kind of chilling and freaky. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it. This guy has way too many connections.
Here's kind of what we were talking about a little bit.
Well, you're not gonna believe this.
If you came here for a story, you came to the right place.
Oh my
Jesus!
God.
There's like crowds of people there. Oh, blank.
Just bringing attention. I'd be fucking terrified if
no one expected this.
If I was just like essentially a civilian or like a low-ranking Marine, I would probably just like pass out.
He never learns. Jinbei's so badass.
Oh. Ooh.
Really? What the hell was that?
Legendary. Yeah. Just sails around. They're taunting us.
I wonder if they're even gonna let anybody print this. Like, I guess, well, no, what, yeah, it already has. Why would they let them print that?
They're like, please no.
I really like, small detail, I really like that Rayleigh has like a European style like sword. It's just kind of a cool detail because everyone always has like katanas or sabers. He has like a long sword.
You can almost see his tattoo.
Mm-hmm. I gotta get the shot.
Yeah.
That's awesome. This is so cool. With the Marines in the background and Marineford in shambles.
Oh, that's how they get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Oh boy.
Dying news. I guess even the world government can't stop information from spreading. Well, they could if they killed them all, but they clearly didn't do that. Alabasta, Drum Kingdom, Water 7, Windmill Village. They didn't stop it in time.
They aren't looking great. Is that like a number for each person that died?
5 Elder Stars.
奴の七部会加入は種族間の焼いた3つの席をどう埋めるか。動きを少し待つべきだ。海賊たちの中での勢力図も変わって早速黒ひげが動き出し、例の奥越ルーキーのうち一人がすでに餌食と完全に白ひげの縄張りを知り尽くしているから、海賊たちの中では一歩リードというとこだろう。2つ食べた人間など歴史的に前例がない。求める当てがあるとすれば、4候補および白ひげの残党たち。リーダー、ボートガスもしかり、お目に触れすぎているようだな。
They want to hide it. They want to hide it. I mean, that's kind of explanation comments have already kind of given us about Goldie Roger, for example. It's been hinted at before, but I feel like that's the first time we've actually heard them talk about, like, that they're intentionally hiding it, yeah.
Oh. He's not doing anything anymore. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's big news.
No doubt about it.
Home.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I feel like that makes the most sense to me with how we know about Garp and Sengoku's sort of, they aren't like Aki Inu. They're more lenient.
Like, yeah, Aki Inu might actually, like, he might be the most effective.
Yeah.
But it might be a little bit too much, and someone with a slight
restraint or empathy.
Yeah, because there's always going to be Marines like Garp. We've seen that, with Smoker, with Kobe, a bunch of other Marines. So putting someone like Aki Inu in charge, he would just cull half of the Marines because they weren't, strong enough in doing what he wanted. But someone like Aokiji is, when he's going to do something, he does it. But he is a little bit flexible, and he's willing to see where things go.
He's flexible, yeah, and that's kind of how Garp and Sengoku were, Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy they're stepping down. And not that Aki Inu, I argue that Aki Inu does have, or maybe had empathy. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, but I don't think he has any sympathy for people like that. He doesn't have sympathy for his enemies. I think that it's a feature of him that he maybe identifies with other people or can empathize with people, but he's so committed to his ideals that he overcomes that because he feels like he's working towards a greater good. So I feel like, but regardless, I feel like Aokiji definitely seems like the stronger pick for them. Definitely more like Kizaru. I mean, we weren't even going to enter him in a conversation.
Yeah. Ooh. Chewing on fish bones.
Jesus Christ. Maybe.
Probably not. Don't yell right next to me.
Now he has a chance to compete with Luffy.
Yeah, that's fine.
Smoker. Oh my god, this episode is crazy. Does he want to go to the New World? G5. Fuck yes. I can't wait to see more Smoker. Whoa! That place is sick.
Yes, let's get a little...
Oxloids. I see.
So it's like a new...
New era.
Yeah. Officially bringing in the new era.
With
Powerful
Rayleigh
move.
there.
Yeah.
Ooh. Blackbeard? Oh no.
There's other like pirates that are trying to get out of here.
They're really hyping this up now. Mm-hmm. I wonder which one fucking Blackbeard went after.
Mm-hmm. It's like a new world style. Oh?
Is it a black hole? Oh my god. Whoa!
Oh, it like has its own
Gravity. What the fuck?
This fucking guy. You fucking suck.
The Wicker Man. The frickin' Wicker Man, yo. Oh my god, the New World's so crazy.
You sure you want to go there? Well.
So fucking scary. This is insane.
Kind of messed up.
Yeah, so all those things about how we talked about Kid, his reputation being inflated, it doesn't sound like those hold up at all. He's crucifying motherfuckers. Yeah. I mean, the anime, it's like rope, but I think the idea is that might be a little bit of censorship and they're actually nailed to that because he has a screw through his chest and Kid's all about like metal and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, he's definitely not. It's not all talk. He definitely is very cruel. Mm-hmm. Kind of insane. But the New World, this like lightning out. It's like, what do we even do here? Like, and then they get approached by some crazy witch offering them an umbrella and like a gravity island that's like pulling things out of the sea. Holy moly! And this one,
because I remember when we first go in the Grand Line, it's like Little Garden was pretty crazy. Like that was like a cool and interesting idea. But then as we went along, we went to just a lot of towns. I would love more shit like this, like semi-uninhabited to fully uninhabited islands. The people that are there are like fucking weird or like
they're not just uninhabited because whatever, because maybe there's a big monster. They're like uninhabitable generally, like other than like creepy old hags that are like floating around them. I feel like I have some faith because of what we're seeing here, and also Sabaudi was a very interesting island.
Super cool.
But I do feel like especially now that Luffy's gone through some serious strife, the crew is probably all leveled up. You know, I want to see some more challenge, some more, you know, environmental challenges.
Yeah.
Like, you know, maybe a little bit of that.
Yeah,
Maybe a little bit, even for just an arc or two as we make our way into the new world.
I kind of hope that we maybe get like a little bit of like a, an intro to the new world of like where we see a couple of just like cool islands where like just the coolness and the weirdness of the environment can just like kind of shine. It's fine either way. I mean, we're obviously like getting really into the story. We have Smoker getting transferred to the new world.
Yes.
You know, we have Dragon assembling all of his guys. We have Sengoku and Garp stepping down, potentially getting replaced by Aokiji. Like there's a lot of things going on. And like Luffy just made this like big declaration of like it's the end of an era basically, and the start of a new one, and that's super sick. I like that a lot. I feel like, you know, it was like, oh, what's he gonna do there? Is he just gonna go and like mourn Ace briefly and then leave? But like, you know, they go around, they show that like, you know, anyone that's there is like no match for them. Jinbei and Rayleigh just take out everything that's getting thrown at them. Luffy goes in there, he does like, he goes there to pay respect to Ace and Whitebeard and everyone else, but he also rings in the new era and is like, I'm the guy that's taking this step. Everyone kind of knows that it's a new era, but I am like making it official here.
Yeah. And I love how like nobody expected it. They were just like
everyone's just like
everyone's like scattered. Like everybody's gone. Everybody's like off doing damage control. Oh, we did see this thing.
Yeah.
3D 2Y. And then the 3D is crossed out. What could 3D being crossed out mean? It seems like it's a reference to Ace. But it's on the other arm for one. What do you think?
I don't know, like...
It seems like it might be a date. Like, that's the only thing that I can think of, but there's no month. I don't even know if there are months.
Yeah, and then there's like the cross. Because
3X, because he's the only one left from like him, Sabo, and Ace.
Yeah.
That's the only connection that I can have with 3 and an X, because Ace did the Ace, spelled his name, and then with an S, and then crossed it out for Sabo.
Yeah.
Because that was Sabo's mark of what he was going to do as a pirate. So that, you know, if it's a reference to that, that kind of makes sense. I don't know what 2Y could mean, because he's the only one of them left.
Yeah. I feel like it's meant to be mysterious, and we're gonna find out later, and we're gonna be like, oh, that makes sense. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure we'll find out.
And the 5 Elder Stars all talking. Did they say anything that was like crazy? They want to like they're just like sort of going over everything. A lot of times, like the other couple times that we've seen them talking, sort of they reveal some. I mean, I guess the main thing that they reveal is what we already kind of, I guess, we're spoiled on, is that they have been sort of removing D from history basically slowly over time by like overwriting it and changing public perception and stuff like that. That's kind of the main drop, I think, of all of this. Everything else is mostly them just kind of setting everything up, like, oh, Marco is there, and there's, we got 3 vacancies with the warlords. Only 3, is that right? We got Blackbeard gone, we got Moria dead, we got Kuma alive, quote unquote.
Because I guess Jinbei never got replaced, because Blackbeard was a replacement for Crocodile.
Right. The Ox Lloyds.
Yeah, this bell, it's not similar, not nearly on the same level, but it does kind of remind me of the one in Skypiea.
Yeah,
that's the last time that we saw like a bell.
I feel like there might be a connection there if it's like this, because the Ox Lloyds there, and it's like the ox is like it. I mean, maybe it's just a spelling choice, but it's ox like Greek letters, or maybe is it Greek? I'm not even sure, but it's like a different style of writing than the Lloyds. So like maybe Lloyd was, or Lloyd, maybe that refers to a more modern thing, like maybe. I don't know. It's a weird storytelling thing. Maybe this is my theory that like the X looks more like an X, but like the dot in the middle of the O and the different shape to the O.
Yeah, we see the other O.
To the other O, like it looks like separate. So maybe it's like a modify. Lloyd's is like a modifier or a sort of subtitle on the other thing, which has a greater maybe symbolic meaning. I don't know if I'm reading too much into that, but you know, a lot of stuff with Skypiea is history that dates back hundreds and hundreds of years with the Shandians and stuff like that. So, maybe there is something there, with, you know, with the motif of a bell being like heralding a new era or heralding like a stop to what's going on type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like they clearly introduced this for a reason because like, as far as I can remember, we didn't see this during the fight. Yeah, like
we also went around the island, so this could be anywhere. I mean, it's pretty decently close.
Yeah. I feel. I mean, maybe
maybe he's under the scaffolding.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Like, maybe it just wasn't a thing then, and it's getting introduced now. But it's. I guess what I'm saying is it's getting introduced for a reason, and we're probably gonna learn a lot more about it. You know, as it goes on, and maybe this is gonna like, you know, fill in some history or like, you know, add a little bit more to something. Because if it's in the Marine headquarters, it's like obviously like important to the Marines, and maybe that's gonna, you know, fill in a bit of info about like, you know, because we've talked a lot about the Marines and like kind of their role like back in the day of like the hundreds of years ago kind of thing, and you know, yeah, I don't know. But there's a lot of cool stuff going on, and it seemed like everything's really gearing up, and it's exciting. And I loved just like finally getting to see the, you know, what Luffy actually did after seeing all like the reactions of just like, what the fuck, Luffy?
Yeah. And I really like how Luffy is, how he's behaving in all of this, like the look he has, everything it feels like this is genuinely what he needed to move forward beyond any like greater implications with the government and the new era and stuff like that. I feel like he does care about that, but it's I like seeing him with how destroyed and devastated and just completely broken he was, to see him come back with a look of like determination or you know, calm, collected, driven vision for him. It bodes really well, and it's very heartwarming for me to see, I think.
And he's like not hiding either, because the Marines were kind of like he's probably not dead, but like we don't know where he is, and he just declared exactly where he was. Yeah. And like, you know, showed everyone that he's not done. Yeah. Very good. And I did like the little kind of side story of like the reporter girl being like, "Oh, I'm from Alabasta," like following up on like the Luffy versus Crocodile incident, and like, you know, I'm coming here to like report on that. I feel like it's just little, but they didn't have to do it. But I felt like I liked it, and it, you know, gives us a little bit of connection to Alabasta. And, you know, makes us care a little bit about her as, like, just because, you know, it could just be a random reporter, but gives her a little story. It's like, she gets the big shock.
It connects a little bit, and it's also, it feels applicable to Smoker then coming up here. Do you think his target's just Luffy, and he's following Luffy?
I guess so, yeah.
Or do you think he has a different target that we don't know? Because he wants to go, but because this conversation, was this before or after Luffy's incident? I guess it was after.
I think it was after.
Okay. So Luffy basically is kind of declaring that he's going to the New World, and then Smoker asked for a transfer, I guess. Yeah.
And Kobe has Haki, awakened Haki, and
we're seeing the awakening and what Haki feels like when you're not prepared for it. Like, so he's feeling the presence of everyone. So anyone who is like very trained in it, like, I mean, anyone that's powerful at this point, like fucking all of Shank's crew and Garp maybe, and or likely Garp and Rayleigh, you know, like you can feel the presence of everything around you, and he's hearing all these voices, but I don't know if that was with him hearing the voices. He was hearing a voice in his head during Marineford, but you know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if him hearing the voices is just a representation of what he's feeling for us as an audience, if it's a actual voice, you know?
Yeah.
Or if he's actually hearing people. Like, I don't think he's actually hearing people's thoughts. I think it's
he's like
him here
hyper-aware.
when he's hyper aware of everybody around him. I don't think he's actually. I mean, maybe he is reading. People's
maybe
minds,
if he has like if his
maybe he has a
hockey is like
particular
a
ability.
different.
Yeah.
So like if like other people's hockey is like, oh, I can like knock everyone else out, but he has like almost like a reverse of that where like he is sensing other. It's like you can put it. So it's like hockey. If everything that we've seen of hockey is like outwardly you are affecting the people around you, but if you had hockey that allowed other people to like affect you, that would be useful in a different way, kind of,
Yeah.
So maybe that's what makes him different, because he's a little bit more sensitive, he's a little bit more
that
like,
would make sense why
reflective.
Luffy, for example, isn't having these
out,
same feelings, is because he has Conqueror's hockey, and then Kobe has something other bullshit, kind of like the girl with the mantra from Skypiea, where she was like hearing stuff and like feeling.
Yeah, and maybe that was like,
disturbance.
I mean, like they said, like that was their own like kind of power system that they had going on there. But
maybe it's foreshadowing. Maybe it was Oda establishing it, thinking that mantra was going to be the thing, and then he kind of discarded it, and now he's picking it back up because he wants to make it a thing again. That's a writing perspective. But yeah, it might lore wise, it might be the same thing.
And either maybe he has that as well, and they think it's hockey, or maybe that all along was just a subset of hockey, but they didn't know that, so they
have a different word for it.
Yeah, they have a different word for it, or they never met anyone that had hockey, or no one ever put the two together. It's
kind of like on Kuja Island, how they're talking about the law, like how what did they say they refer it because they're in the calm belt, so they have like a different the still sea.
Yeah. They don't call it the calm belt.
Yeah, they call it the still sea because they have a different word for it. They have a different cultural kind of identification of these things. So maybe it's something like that where the people of Skypiea had similar kind of feelings. And then speaking of hockey, there's also this thing that I think Luffy did that we're seeing more of that we haven't seen in a while, I don't think. But there's like somebody will do something crazy and then be like, what the fuck? They're like, they know what I'm doing. So maybe that's what Kobe's here. Like, it'll like zoom in on their eyes or just there's been things, and I think it was in Skypiea as well. They were like, oh, he can tell what I'm doing. He knows what I'm about to do before I do it. And I theorized that Shanks maybe was like clairvoyant, and so maybe if this is the kind of ability that Shanks has, maybe it's like this is like the voice of all things or whatever that was. Like it's this connection to like a higher power. You're like plugged into this fucking maybe like hive mind, or maybe it's not something literal like that, but like
Roger listening to the Poneglyph audiobook.
Yes,
kind of
that's what this is referring to. And if you're awakened in it, then you can not just sort of get glimpses into like potentialities of what your enemy is going to do in a fight on that sense. Maybe if you're trained up enough, then you can see like a great, like past the veil of reality and like see greater things that are like beyond our understanding, or see deep into the future and do things to guide it, like giving Luffy the fucking hat, and like putting your faith in him because he's gonna like bring about the new era, which he fucking did just now, by the way. Because Shanks said, I'm putting faith in a new era when he sacrificed his army. I think he said that to Mihawk, or he said it to somebody. Maybe that it's all connecting to this, and this is finally like the introduction of all those random, seemingly disparate ideas, but they're all, and it's all, maybe big picture lore stuff, but also kind of more importantly from the way that One Piece is generally experienced. It's like a power system thing as well, like, cause all this big lore stuff, we'll have an episode every 100 or 150 episodes that deals with all this crazy shit and these movements of pieces, and then we're on the fucking cruise and we're just like going on adventures, and then things are applied in very smaller ways that maybe have grander implications. But anyway. Yeah, I
had a thought and then I forgot about it.
About voices, about Poneglyph audiobook.
Okay,
about Kobe. About hockey. Voice.
Oh, no, it was about how, it was the whole thing of, like, Shanks chose to put his faith in Luffy as being, like, the new era, and then Whitebeard did that to Ace, but then there's the whole, like, Will of D thing, how it gets passed on, so it's, like, in a way, Ace was also kind of responsible for this ringing in of the new era, because Luffy would have never had a reason to come here and make such a bold declaration if he hadn't lost Ace and wasn't now carrying Ace's will with him, you know? So it's kind of, it's like, Whitebeard and was, in a way, like, right to be focusing on Ace, but Shanks was also right to be putting his faith in Luffy, it's a kind of an, yeah.
Yeah, well, in a way they're both right, but it's kind of interesting because Whitebeard ended up being a completely different person archetypally than I was anticipating with like what his personality would be, and based on his place within the grander narrative, I expected him to be a lot more of a hard ass, a lot more of a tough guy, and he was very soft-hearted in a good way, a good example, I guess you could say. But I expected, with the sort of dichotomy between Shanks and Whitebeard, it seemed to me from before, like when we first met Whitebeard, when we first saw him there, it seemed like they were building up, and this is going not in the direction you maybe think, but they were building up like Whitebeard is this relic of the old era, and he doesn't see the future. He doesn't see where things are really going, like the true path forward. He's kind of stuck in the past. And then Shanks is the young guy. He was, instead of being Roger's enemy, he was Roger's disciple. He was like following in his footsteps, and he sees that Luffy is the way forward. He is like he's the younger generation who like is coming up and is seeing the way forward. Whitebeard in the end was not like the hard ass sort of stagnant, I'm a resisting of change type guy. In a way, I feel like he knew that he was going to sacrifice himself to bring about the new era. But I also felt like he believed that Ace would be the one to herald it. So in a way, that idea of Whitebeard, even though he was good intentioned, he has this like certain idea that's related to the past, and he more did it because he loved Ace, obviously. But thinking about the sort of meaning of the whole thing, it seemed like the story is kind of Whitebeard. He was a friend of Roger. He was a rival of Roger. He took in Roger's son and then was raising him up because he cared about him just like he cares about anyone else on his crew. But also in the back, he's like, he could be king of the pirates someday. He could be like, he was, in a way, it was like him clinging to Roger, even though he kind of lost him. He was like a brother he never had kind of thing, somebody that he could measure himself against. And then he lost Roger and lost that connection, but then he found his son and was in a way sort of propping him up to like follow in those footsteps so that he could reconnect with that. So he was kind of like married to this past, even though he was not, it's like there's an archetype that's playing out, but then there's the way that Oda did it, and it kind of strays from that path that's sort of necessarily sort of laid out from that. But the sort of dichotomy still remains, where he believed in Ace died, and then Shanks believes in Luffy, and Luffy brings about the new era himself. But so yeah, I don't know. Take for that, I guess, if that means anything to you. But it means something to me. I think it's an interesting kind of thing, and the way that it played out, I guess, is not following like the playbook that these stories normally follow, and that's not a bad thing. It's just different. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but anyway, leave a like and subscribe. See you next one, Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.